If you saved $5,000 a year into a Roth IRA from the beginning of your career to the end of your career, how much would you have in that Roth at retirement? Wow, you are going to love this answer. I've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. The Roth IRA is an extremely powerful tool in your financial life. Are you using it to its full potential? The big deal about the Roth is that as you make contributions, it's after tax. You don't get a benefit on your contribution today unless you are eligible for the retirement savers tax credit, which I love. That's my favorite one. But your contribution to the Roth isn't going to help you on your taxes today. But the growth on that Roth is all tax sheltered. It's all the dividends, capital gains. It's all absorbed within that Roth. Does not land on your tax return. And then as long as you held, easy for me to say, a Roth IRA for at least 5 years, and you're age 59 and a half, then all that growth you can pull out tax-free. So if you are young, oh my goodness, Roth IRA makes a ton of sense. If you expect to pay higher taxes out there in the future because you think your income's going to be higher or tax rates are going to be higher, love the Roth. If you think we've just had a dip in the stock market or the stock market's going to be significantly higher out there in the future, you want all that growth to be tax-free in the Roth. Advantage Roth. It makes a lot of sense. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but you got to work with your CFP on an ongoing basis to determine, should I be funding Roth or pre-tax? Which one is best? Now, I said if you're early in your career or you think you're going to make more money out there in the future, or if the market's low, all of those reasons sort of point to early in your career, like young, funding the Roth IRA. So what if you funded a Roth IRA $5,000 a year from the very first year of your career until your last year? Okay, so from age 22 until age 67. Okay, and you might say, I want to retire in my early 60s or late 50s, and you're going to live longer. And so I would set your sights on mid 60s. I picked 67. That's the Social Security full retirement age right now. And so saving $5,000, which early in your career is going to sound very difficult, but I would argue it's manageable if you make it a big priority. And then as your career progresses, you're going to say, I could actually fund more, but let's just keep it simple. $5,000 a year into your Roth every year from age 22 to 67. That's 45 years. And let's also assume that you are very disciplined in your investments and you don't react to the noise and react to the concerns, and you're able to get an average return on those dollars each year of around 8%. Now, the stock market typically is going to do much better. You're going to be diversified, and let's not be too optimistic here. Let's be more realistic. 8% rate of return on your $5,000 contribution to your Roth over your career. How much will that amount to by the time you're age 67? Guys, you're going to be shocked to hear this number: $1.9 million. And a significant amount of that, well over 1.5 million of that, is growth. Tax-free, $1.9 million. Now, that assumes 8% a year like clockwork, which no one will get, but some years you should get higher, some years you might get lower. Also sticking to that investment strategy, by the time you get out there into your 60s, or maybe when this becomes $1 million, you might get more jittery as you see volatility, but this is sticking to that game plan. 8% contributing $5,000 a year to your Roth, just under $2 million. Now, what if you say, no, I want to be done sooner, or I can't start that early? And instead of contributing for 45 years, you only contribute for 35 years. So you get a late start, or you stop early, something like that. Still, guys, almost $1 million. 10 years less is a significant decline in that. You're going to cut out at least one double. Right? Stock market, your investment should double at 8%, should double at least every 10 years. And you're contributing less because it's 10 years less, and you're cutting out a double. And so, but still, less than $1 million, that's still fantastic amount of accumulation, and much of that tax-free growth. Now, same scenario, but say you're a go-getter And listen, starting wages have been increasing for careers, and we've got really imbalances with inflation and wages and all that sort of stuff. But let's say you heard me say $5,000 a year and say, no, I can do more than that. I can contribute $7,000. So if you do $7,000 a year instead of 5 for that same 45 years, from age 22 to age 67, it was 1.9 million. If you were doing $5,000. How much would $7,000 amount to? $2.7 million, almost $3 million. And who knows what standard of living will be out there in the future, and so how far will 2.7 million go? But I would argue your retirement would be set. You would be very much on a stable footing, with so much of that being tax-free, 2.7 million. And then last scenario. If you're saying, well, no, I can do the $5,000, starting at 67 or starting at 22, that's manageable, going to 67, but I'm very comfortable investing, and actually we'll be staying in stocks and we'll stay the course long term, and I think I can get 10% rate of return. If you go back the last 20 years, which has included a lot of awful stuff in the world and the economy, the stock market's averaged that 10% more than that actually, and so now we've been in this, modern monetary theory where we've been printing a bunch of money. Who knows if that's sustainable? Actually, I do. It's not. But if you can earn 10% as opposed to 8%, your $5,000 a year contribution to your Roth over those 45 years, instead of being 1.9 million, it's $3.6 million by earning 10% instead of 8. That's why we're going to preach, stay the course. Stay the course. And you might say, I can't get there when I see my investments drop 25%. I know, but because your investments drop 25%, that's the risk. And the reward that you get is through patience and riding through those ups and downs, that long-term average of the stock market being about 10%. And yeah, that's a big difference between 1.9 and 3.6. But the big point here is this is all within your Roth, all of that growth being tax-free. So what's your tax shelter strategy? How much can you save? What are these numbers for your specific situation? And if you're motivated by this, work with your CFP, build out that plan for you, and get going. Get going. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.